A man casually flicked a cigarette butt to the ground, and to his astonishment, the patch of grass before him seemed to ripple outward like water. Alarmed, Jack hurried over to investigate, only to notice that the soil felt wrong under his boots. He grabbed a pickaxe and began to dig, but discovered that there was no earth beneath the sod at all, just a massive slab of yellow modeling clay. Jack immediately called his wife, Annie, to help him uncover whatever might be hiding below, but after digging for quite some time, they found nothing. Suddenly, an eerie cry rang out from above. Racing to fetch a ladder, Jack climbed up to the roof only to be met by an endless sea of identical single-family homes stretching off into the horizon. He sank to his knees, despairing. This was the very house they had just purchased, so why did it feel like they were trapped in a labyrinth? Sensing something was terribly wrong, Jack dragged Annie to their car and tried to drive away. Yet every road led them back to their own front gate, and no matter how far or long they drove, until the sun set, they could not escape the neighborhood. Just as hope was slipping away, Annie spotted a single lit window in the jumble of rooftops. Thrusting open the front door of that house in their excitement, they found the same half-eaten leftovers from the previous night sitting on the table. This, too, was their home. But now there was a delivery box outside filled with food and household supplies. It was clear they had become prisoners in a vast, prison-like subdivision. The next morning, another delivery box appeared on their doorstep. Inside lay a chubby baby boy, and scrawled on the outside were the words, "Raise this child to maturity, and you may earn your freedom." Stunned by this bizarre turn of events, Jack and Annie could only stare as the infant, against all reason, grew into a 10-year-old boy in just 90 days. His speech, expressions, and movements were disturbingly uncanny. He spied on the couple's private moments and flawlessly mimicked their voices and mannerisms. Frustrated, Jack spent every waking hour trying to dig beneath the lawn, convinced that tunneling out was their only escape. But 2 weeks passed with no progress, and the strain of malnutrition and relentless labor left him increasingly weak. 3 more months slipped by, and the boy had matured into a strong, full-grown man. Annie, now reduced to a life of doting servant, tended to his every need, convinced that he was something other than human. Each day held new terror. Jack feared he would be devoured, and by now his body was failing him. One afternoon, he collapsed at the roadside. Annie rushed to carry him back inside, only to find the door locked, and no amount of pleading or pounding could persuade the boy to let them in. With no other option, they spent the night cramped in their car. At dawn, Jack's condition had worsened, so Annie again pounded on the door, begging the boy for help. This time he opened it only to look down at Jack's frail form and say coldly, "There's no point in saving him now," before walking away without a backward glance. Jack died that evening in Annie's arms, a release, perhaps, from his unending ordeal. Grief-stricken and alone, Annie soon followed him in death. The boy emerged at the sales office that very morning, expressionless, clipped on his employee badge, and gratefully welcomed the next unsuspecting couple who walked in. In its final moment, the film reveals its true intent, a chilling allegory for the average person's life, trapped forever in the pursuit of home ownership and child-rearing, unable ever to escape.